Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you know about your life, your purpose, and the world itself is a carefully constructed lie. You look at the sky, feel the warmth of the sun, and hear the hum of life all around. But something doesn't feel right. It's as if the world is too perfect, too intricate, yet deeply flawed in ways you can't articulate. What if this reality isn't what it seems? What if everything you've been told about creation, God, and your soul is part of a grand deception? This is the unsettling premise of an ancient forbidden knowledge that dares to question the foundations of existence. The Gnostics, keepers of this secret, spoke of a world not as a paradise or divine gift, but as a prison for the soul. A prison so vast and complex that its captives don't even realize they're trapped. And the warden of this prison, a false god, the Demiurge, whose only desire is control. Before this physical world existed, the Gnostics believed there was only the Pleroma, the infinite and boundless realm of divine light. In this eternal space, all things were unified in pure truth and divine harmony. Souls existed here as luminous sparks, connected directly to the infinite source, aware of their nature and purpose. But then, a catastrophic event disrupted this harmony. A being emerged from ignorance, the Demiurge, a fragment of creation that turned against its own source. Blind to the higher divine reality, it sought to create a world in its own image. In its arrogance, it declared itself God and set to work fashioning a physical realm designed to enslave and distract the luminous souls, cutting them off from their divine origin. Enjoying the story? Like, subscribe, and share to support us. Let's continue. Demiurge is not the benevolent creator worshipped by billions, but a flawed and ego-driven entity, blinded by its own ignorance. This being did not create the world as an act of love, but as an act of control. The Gnostics described the Demiurge as a cunning jailer who sought to imprison divine souls in the dense, limited reality of the material world. To ensure his creations remained subservient, the Demiurge stripped them of their memory of the Pleroma and replaced it with fear, longing, and a hunger for fleeting pleasures. He created a world filled with beauty to mask its true purpose and suffering, to keep its inhabitants distracted and obedient. But the Demiurge did not act alone. According to the Gnostics, he created the Archons, powerful, manipulative entities tasked with enforcing his rule. The Archons are the wardens of this cosmic prison, their purpose being to keep humanity blind to the truth of its divine origin. They work subtly, infiltrating thoughts, influencing emotions, and maintaining the systems of control that govern this world. The Archons thrive on chaos, fear, and division, using these forces to strengthen their grip on the souls trapped here. By perpetuating conflict and suffering, they ensure that humanity remains too distracted to question the nature of their reality. This world, the Gnostics taught, is a labyrinth of illusions. Every desire, every attachment, every fleeting moment of joy is carefully crafted to keep souls tethered to the material realm. From the moment we are born, we are assigned identities, names, roles, and beliefs that define us and bind us to this system. Society tells us to strive for success, to accumulate wealth, to chase love and status. But what if these pursuits, far from bringing fulfillment, are the bars of our prison? What if the constant yearning for more is the very mechanism that keeps us trapped? At the heart of this prison lies the human body itself. The Gnostics described the body as the ultimate tool of control, a device designed to anchor the soul to the physical world. Hunger, pain, lust, and fatigue are not simply biological needs, but chains that bind us to the cycle of survival and distraction. Even the moments of pleasure and comfort are fleeting, leaving us yearning for more and pulling us deeper into the material illusion. Our bodies are not temples of divine purpose, the Gnostics claimed, but cages, brilliant, intricate, and inescapable unless we awaken to their true nature. But the Gnostics offered hope. Gnosis. This ancient Greek word, meaning knowledge, is not about learning facts or following a doctrine. Gnosis is an awakening, a profound personal realization of the truth that lies hidden beneath the illusions of the material world. It is the recognition of the divine spark within, the unshakable understanding that you are not your body, your identity, or your desires. To attain gnosis is to begin the journey of liberation, to peel back the layers of deception and reconnect with the infinite source. The journey to gnosis is not easy. It begins with questioning everything: the nature of reality, the role of authority, even the concept of God as we've been taught to understand it. The Gnostics believe that true freedom begins when you reject the systems of control that keep you tethered to the material world. But this path is not without its dangers. The archons grow restless when a soul begins to awaken, intensifying their efforts to pull the seeker back into ignorance. Doubts, fears, and distractions arise, testing the resolve of those who dare to search for the truth. The awakened soul begins to see the world differently. The distractions and desires that once seemed so important lose their power. Wealth, power, and status are revealed as hollow pursuits, mere tools of the demiurge to keep humanity enslaved. The awakened soul no longer seeks validation from external sources, recognizing that true fulfillment lies within. This shift in perspective is the first crack in the demiurge's illusion, a small but significant step toward liberation. As the seeker continues their journey, the illusions of the material world become more apparent. What once brought joy or comfort now feels shallow, like a fleeting shadow. The soul begins to sense the weight of its attachments, not just to material possessions, but to ideas, identities, and relationships that anchor it to the false reality crafted by the demiurge. Each attachment is like a chain, keeping the soul tied to the ground when it yearns to soar. Letting go is not easy. The archons have made these chains beautiful and familiar. Yet, with every chain broken, the soul feels a lightness, a growing awareness that it was never meant to remain confined. One of the greatest weapons of the demiurge is fear. Fear of loss, fear of suffering, fear of the unknown. These emotions bind the soul more tightly than any physical chain. The Gnostics taught that fear is the language of the archons, a tool they use to keep souls compliant and distracted. But the awakened soul begins to recognize fear for what it is, an illusion. By confronting fear, rather than running from it, the seeker strips it of its power. Each moment of courage is a step closer to gnosis, a victory over the forces of control. The next stage of awakening involves a profound shift in identity. The seeker begins to realize that they are not the labels they have been given. Their name, their nationality, their role in society. These are constructs of the material world, designed to create division and enforce conformity. The Gnostics taught that the true self is infinite, connected to the divine source. This realization is like breaking a mirror that has shown only distorted reflections. The seeker sees their true essence for the first time. It is not bound by time, space, or the constraints of the physical world. As the soul awakens further, it begins to encounter the deeper traps laid by the archons. These traps are not external, but internal. Thoughts of doubt, anger, jealousy, and pride. The Gnostics believed that the archons plant these thoughts like seeds, nurturing them to grow into barriers that block the soul's path. The awakened seeker must learn to recognize these intrusions and neutralize them. It is a process of purification, of clearing the mind of the noise that drowns out the quiet truth of the divine spark within. The concept of reincarnation takes on a darker meaning in Gnostic thought. While many traditions view reincarnation as a chance for spiritual growth, the Gnostics saw it as another layer of the prison. The demiurge recycles souls through countless lives, erasing their memories and forcing them to start anew. Each life is filled with struggles and distractions, designed to keep the soul too preoccupied to seek liberation. The awakened soul begins to see this cycle for what it is, a mechanism of control. Gnosis is the key to breaking free, to ending the cycle and returning to the infinite source. Gnosis is not just about escaping the material world. It is about seeing the world for what it truly is. The Gnostics taught that the material realm is not inherently evil, but is a shadow, a reflection of the divine. Its beauty is a faint echo of the Pleroma's infinite light. The awakened soul learns to appreciate the world without becoming attached to it. Life becomes a journey of discovery, not of accumulation, and every experience becomes a lesson in the quest for truth. As the seeker delves deeper into their awakening, they discover the power of love and unity. The archons thrive on division between individuals, nations, and even within oneself. But love, in its purest form, is a force that transcends these divisions. It is a reflection of the Pleroma, the infinite source from which all things arise. The awakened soul begins to see others not as separate beings, but as reflections of the same divine light. This realization transforms relationships and breaks down the barriers that the Demiurge has spent so long building. The path to Gnosis is not a solitary one. While awakening begins within, it often spreads outward, inspiring others to question and seek the truth. The Gnostics believed that every awakened soul becomes a beacon, a light in the darkness that guides others. This ripple effect is the Demiurge's greatest fear. As more souls awaken, the illusion of the material world begins to crumble. The archons grow weaker, their control slipping as humanity moves closer to collective liberation. The Gnostic vision of liberation is revolutionary. It is not just about freeing individuals, but about transforming the entire fabric of reality. The Demiurge's creation is a counterfeit, a shadow of the true divine realm. As souls awaken, they begin to dissolve the illusion, revealing the infinite light that lies beyond. The Gnostics believed that this process would eventually lead to the collapse of the Demiurge's prison, freeing all souls to return to the Pleroma. But this vision is not without resistance. The Demiurge and Archons will not relinquish their power easily. They intensify their efforts, creating new distractions, divisions, and fears to keep humanity bound. Yet, the awakened soul remains unshaken. Gnosis is not something that can be unlearned. Once a soul remembers its divine origin, the illusions of the material world lose their hold forever. In the final stages of awakening, the soul experiences a profound transformation. The barriers between self and source dissolve entirely, and the seeker becomes one with the infinite. This is not an escape from the world, but a complete redefinition of existence. The Gnostics describe this state as the ultimate freedom, a return to the Pleroma, where all things are unified in truth and light. This is the destiny of every soul, no matter how lost it may seem. The journey toward complete awakening is not without its moments of doubt. The archons prey on these, whispering thoughts of unworthiness and futility. They amplify the voice of self-doubt, making the seeker question whether liberation is even possible. The Gnostics taught that these moments are part of the process, a final resistance from the forces that seek to keep humanity asleep. But the awakened soul begins to see these doubts for what they are, shadows that grow weaker as the light of Gnosis grows stronger. The Gnostic seeker understands that awakening is not about rejecting life, but embracing it with new eyes. The world, once seen as a prison, now becomes a stage for spiritual growth. Each challenge, each moment of joy or pain, becomes a lesson, a reminder of the transient nature of the material realm. The seeker learns to walk through life with detachment, appreciating its beauty while remaining anchored in the truth of the divine spark within. The awakened soul also begins to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. The Gnostics taught that every being carries a fragment of the divine, even if it is buried beneath layers of illusion. This realization fosters compassion and unity, dissolving the barriers of judgment and separation. The soul sees itself in others, understanding that liberation is not an individual journey, but a collective one. Helping others awaken becomes a natural extension of their own enlightenment. As more souls awaken, the structures of the material world begin to falter. The systems of control, governments, religions, and societal hierarchies depend on humanity's ignorance to function. The awakened souls see these structures for what they are, tools of the demiurge to maintain the illusion. They no longer participate in the cycles of fear and division that sustain them. This mass awakening becomes a revolution, not of violence, but of consciousness, shaking the foundations of the prison itself. The demiurge, sensing its loss of control, attempts to tighten its grip. The archons unleash chaos, manipulating events to create fear and confusion. The awakened souls, however, remain steadfast. They see through the illusion of chaos, recognizing it as the final desperate act of a crumbling system. Their light grows stronger, unshaken by the storms around them, becoming beacons for those still trapped in the darkness. The Gnostics believed that the ultimate liberation of the soul was not merely an escape, but a return to its true purpose. The soul, once reconnected with the infinite source, becomes a channel for divine light, bringing truth and healing to the world. This state is not about transcending the material realm entirely, but transforming it. The awakened soul walks the earth with purpose, spreading the light of Gnosis and helping others awaken to their divine nature. One of the most profound teachings of the Gnostics is that liberation is not reserved for a select few. Every soul, no matter how deeply trapped or lost, carries the potential for awakening. The divine spark cannot be extinguished, no matter how heavily it is buried beneath the illusions of the material world. This realization fills the awakened soul with hope, knowing that even the most hardened hearts can eventually remember their true nature. As the awakened soul continues its journey, it begins to experience moments of pure connection with the infinite. These moments are glimpses of the pleroma, the divine realm of unity and truth. They are not bound by time or space, and in them, the soul feels an overwhelming sense of peace and belonging. These moments remind the seeker of their ultimate destination, a return to the source, where all things are one. The collapse of the demiurge's illusion is not the end, but a new beginning. The Gnostics envisioned a reality where the material and divine realms are no longer separate. As the souls awaken and the structures of control dissolve, the true nature of existence is revealed. It is a world of infinite possibility, where humanity lives in harmony with its divine essence, free from the chains of fear and ignorance. The final message of the Gnostics is one of profound empowerment. You are not your body, your identity, or your struggles. You are a spark of the infinite, eternal and free. This is the truth the demiurge and archons have worked so hard to obscure, but it cannot be erased. The journey to Gnosis is the ultimate act of resistance, a reclamation of your divine birthright. And when enough souls awaken, the prison will fall, and the infinite light will shine once more.